My husband left me to attend his sister's wedding when I was 9 months pregnant, so I ruined her relationship and exposed her lies to everyone. I'm 35F, and I've been married to my husband Andrew, 39 meters, for the last 7 years. We have a 5-year-old daughter, and I'm currently 7 months pregnant. The primary reason why I'm here is because I need someone to hear me out, and what better than anonymity? My husband has always been close to his family, which I didn't find objectionable during our dating phase. His family was sweet to me whenever we met, but soon after our marriage, I realized that he was really close to his mother and sister, like they three have a gang kind of friendship. While this did not impact our relationship as a married couple, I just used to roll my eyes at their ganging up, not at me, and moved on. In any social gatherings or parties, they usually sit together and criticize others. Initially, they tried to involve me in their fun activity, but I'm not that kind of a small talk person, so I stayed out of it. However, they didn't bother me, so I too didn't bother them. While my mother-in-law, MIL, and sister-in-law, SIL, were not that warm and friendly with me, they used to stay away from my lane. I too tried to avoid them as much as possible. I didn't enjoy mocking people behind their backs and hugging them when in front. Anyway, after I conceived my first child, I stopped visiting my in-laws' house. Firstly, I was looking for a reason to cut them off, and second, my Mil and Sil were toxic. My husband was kind and gentle, but God knows what happened to him when he met his mother and sister. He would just transform into a different being. Until my husband was civil with me at home, I didn't care what he did for those 2 to 3 hours he met his family on weekends. I gave him that space. When my daughter Sarah was 3, my in-laws started poisoning her ear, saying Mama is a bad woman. But my daughter fought back, cried, and said Mama is good. She then came home and told me what had happened. My husband laughed at the situation, saying they would have just teased the little girl, but I knew the real intention behind it. Since then, I have never left my daughter alone with those evil women. Things started going south last year when my Sil started dating a wealthy businessman from Scotland. It is understandable that she was over the moon to have found such a man falling for her, but why on earth was my husband so excited about that dig? It really kept me wondering. To give a little background about my in-laws, my father-in-law, FIL, retired years ago and lived in his ancestral farmhouse in the countryside. I've met him only a handful number of times, and he's a no-nonsense person, unlike others. Probably that's the reason he had moved out to seek peace. My Mil and Sil are jobless and surviving on the rent of one of Phil's properties and allowance from him. My husband also pays his mother a part of his salary as an allowance. I have always been self-dependent, so I don't mind Andrew giving some grants to his mother. Coming back to the main point, ever since my Sil started dating that rich man, her attitude changed completely for the worse. She considers herself to be a princess or so. She would often flash those expensive gifts which she got from her boyfriend at family gatherings or any social event. My Sil left no opportunity to show off to everyone how rich her boyfriend was. The funny part is, my Mil also had her feet floating. She would giggle with Sil like they were both teenagers. Their behavior got on my nerves, and my annoyance was clear on my face. It's not that I'm jealous or so, why would I be? The thing is, since my Mil and Sil were surviving on a tiny budget, they never crossed their line because they barely had anything to show off or look down upon me. However, with her new profound love, they both subtly tried to demean me and accuse me of being jealous of them. Of course, they didn't say this to my face, but I got the hint from their body language, and some of the relatives also confirmed the same. Soon after this, I got pregnant with my second child, and thank God it saved me from visiting their place. Andrew would insist that I let Sarah spend time with them alone, but Sarah wouldn't budge. She is 5, yet she doesn't want to be with them. I know some of you would blame me for turning my daughter against my in-laws. Let me tell you, children have better senses than adults. They can differentiate between love and fakeness. My first pregnancy was difficult. I was put on bed rest, but my in-laws never visited to check on me. My second one is comparatively easier, but they visit me often. No, not to check on me, but to show off their new jewelry collection, a trendy dress, or a bag worth thousands of dollars. My Sil would just go gaga over her boyfriend's richness and how they are planning for a grand wedding in Scotland and so on. I just nodded with a plastered smile on my face and sighed under my breath, good for you. A week ago, my Mil and Sil showed up out of the blue. They started praising my cooking. Sil said that she loved the apple pie and bacon donuts I made. Rather than happy, I got suspicious of their gesture. I asked them why they suddenly remembered the dessert I had served them probably years ago. They were taken aback that instead of thanking them for their kind words, I directly jumped to the point. Sil said that she had been craving an apple pie for a long time, and none of the restaurants were able to match the taste I baked, so they wanted me to prepare those for her. I thanked them and told them I wasn't keeping well, and baking would take additional effort, which I couldn't manage with my pregnancy and a toddler. They were not ready to take no for an answer and still insisted that I bake it for her. I could not push back further and said I would try to bake it whenever I felt okay. My Sil hugged me for the first time after my wedding and said she wanted it on Sunday. I didn't say anything further or notice why she asked me to have it on Sunday. To be honest, I didn't intend to make it at all. I said I tried just to dodge the bullet at that moment.